Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing today on beautiful upper Lake Taneycomo. It is the 19th of March, Friday. I am here with Nathan Shags McLeod, and Levi is in the back of the boat, and we're going to do the one cast for you today.
Can I just say that it's been a dream of mine to be on one cast?
All right, so
see,
we're making dreams come true here today.
Set goals in your life and they can be accomplished. All I've ever wanted out of my life was to be on one cast. I watch it every day religiously. I got so many people that are gonna be jealous that I'm sitting here with you on Lilley's Landing's one cast.
So dreams do come true here on Lake Taneycomo. Let's see.
Ma, I did it.
All right, so we've been up here playing around. We've been fishing up by the dam, kind of drifting from the cable back kind of down by the boat ramp today. The most effective thing we've done today was throw the 110+1 signature series. We caught 3 or 4, and a record was set today. The smallest trout ever caught on a 110+1. It was literally the same size as the lure. That little guy will grow up to be a monster one day if he survives. Let's see, so they're still running 3 generators with 5 floodgates at 1 foot apiece for a total of 15,000 cubic feet per second. So working the big jerk baits was working the best for us. We caught one on a jig kind of down by Point Royale, and everything else has been on that. Oh, I did catch one dragging a jerk bait a second ago, but we did realize that even though the moss is cleared out a bit up top, it's still a little too mossy to drag the jerk baits. They're getting pretty mossed up pretty quick. And we found that after we came down here outside of the trophy area, the bottom cleaned up quite a bit and we were getting a better bounce. So today, Nathan and I are going to be dragging some jerk baits. He's got on the 606 Signature Series Ghost Shad, and that's on about 3 foot of 4-pound monofilament Trilene XL smooth cast. And then we've got the snap swivel holding the 1/8 ounce weight, and that's sliding up and down on the line with a size 12 barrel swivel to hold the leader. I've got the same setup, except I'm using one of the 762s that we order up there. These ones are a little bit cheaper. This is the Primeval, I think is what Nathan decided to name that one. It's kind of a holographic gold little tiger stripe there. I've got the exact same setup as in for my weight and for my leader, and Levi is throwing a rainbow 110+1 signature series. We were using all 3 of these colors up in the trophy area a little bit ago in that same size, and that's what we caught the most fish on. Well, we're gonna get drifting here today. We are just right above the Acacia Club boat ramp, and we're just gonna drift this inside edge and go for a while and see if we can't find some fish down here. I think this method would have been pretty effective with how the water's running up in the trophy area, but you just couldn't keep it out of the moss long enough to find out whether it was effective. Once we got down here and got out of the moss, I started getting some bites and caught one. So we're gonna try it down here and see if it works a little better. Levi's gonna hunt big brown trout in the back with a 110. Let's see, I talked to Captain Philip Stone earlier today when I was getting lunch down at Scotty's, and he said that the bite was slow. He said they had about a 22 or 23 inch brown on using a scud dragging up in the trophy area, and almost got it in the net, but it spit the fly before they could get it all the way in. And he said they had one other big rainbow on a scud up there, but they said other than that the bite was pretty slow. We're gonna go to this side over here.
Already cut me out of the shot, huh?
Yeah. I just want to work this inside edge. I think there might be some fish holding closer to this side. Oh, let's see. We passed Darren Sadler a little bit ago. He gave me the so-so hand gesture as we went by, so it sounds like maybe they were a little slow as well, and that seems to be the consensus, unless, of course, you went down by the fish house, the Bass Pro fish house today. I had a boat come back in kind of a little bit before lunch, and they all had their limit of fish. They said that they actually caught their limit within the first 10 minutes they were down there. They were fishing from the bottom side of the fish house restaurant all the way to where Aurora Creek started. They said most of what they caught was on spoons, but they also were using some jigs and some I think pink power worms. But they said that there was a lot of fish stacked up from the fish house down. So if you're looking to catch some fish, that might be the spot to go. You can throw over on this side too. I'm out of your way. Yeah, get as close to the front of those docks as you can. Oh, let's see. We were super busy at the resort today. I think we sent out every single boat except for one. So lots of people getting out and enjoying this beautiful weather we have here today. Just a good day to be on the water. So Nathan here with me today, among many other things, does the Driftwood Outdoors podcast with Brandon Butler. You want to say anything about that?
Well, yeah, that's the reason we're down here. I'm projecting to try to get onto your microphone,
you're
so
good.
I hope I'm not.
I'll puff my chest
I
out.
hope I'm not yelling. But we're down here for MONASP, the Missouri Archery State Tournament. The high school kids. We're going to be recording a podcast at the Branson Convention Center tomorrow. And I decided to sneak out of work a little early, come down with my buddy Blake and get on the water and fish beautiful Taneycomo. And yeah, we've had Dwayne on the podcast before, and a couple of other Chuck Grease, a couple of other guides down here have been on the Driftwood Outdoors podcast. So if you like hunting and fishing and trapping and the outdoors, you might want to check out the podcast, Driftwood Outdoors. I appreciate the plug, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great podcast. If you're an outdoors person, they are too. And
I
it
probably
shows.
should plug my real job too. If you're in the mid-Missouri area and like classic rock, you can tune into my morning show on 96.7 KCMQ.
Shags has been doing the morning show in Columbia since I was a kid, and I remember hearing his voice.
At all.
I remember hearing his voice on the radio station from when I was growing up in Columbia, which that's where I'm from. So there's definitely a lot less moss down here. I'm getting a good solid bounce across the bottom, feeling the rocks instead of just mushy moss. And right now, so this time last year, they had the floodgates running, except we had some extreme flood conditions, and I mean they had the floodgates on for almost 2 months, if I remember correctly. And it brought a lot of shad over into the water, and it's all kinds of stuff. But whenever the water's running at this 15,000 or higher, you can actually drift these jerk baits all the way past our dock. The water's running fast enough to keep them moving at a good rate, and you can work them all the way to as far. I think last year I worked it as far as about Scotty's trout dock before it started feeling like it was moving too slow, and catching fish the whole time. And I haven't, since the floodgates have been on this time, I have not tried drifting these really any farther than where we're at right now. So if you're out here fishing, I think, you know, even if you're drifting from our dock down, I think it'd be something good to try. The water's definitely moving fast enough. And I don't think the fish down there see these jerk baits in front of their face as often as maybe some of the ones up here do.
Yeah, it was last summer that I was drifting one of yours and caught a 20-inch 5-pound brown.
Yeah, and that was below our dock down in the Cooper Creek Flat. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think that there's a decent population of browns that stay between, let's just say, our dock and Monkey Island. And this method that we're doing right now, sometimes it catches a ton of fish, but a lot of the time it at least produces some pretty nice fish. And the brown trout are particular to things that look like minnows and jerk baits and, well, real minnows.
Levi in the back.
Yep. How you doing today?
Good, you?
Oh, I can't complain. You catching anything over there?
Got 2 on with the power worm.
2 on with the pink power worm? Yep. Yeah, they seem to be biting a little better today. I've seen people with more fish today than I have the last couple days.
And you guys are famous.
See, right now we are kind of just drifting straight down the center. Wind has been pushing me away from precisely where I wanted to drift, but this is still a good spot, and we are coming up right on even with Short Creek here, heading towards the flat. And we might even drift a little bit past Trout Hollow Lodge. When the water's moving this fast, the boat's drifting anywhere between 3 and 4 miles an hour, depending on how hard the wind is pushing upstream, which we do have a pretty steady wind today pushing us upstream. But we just got a bunch of these cheaper jerk baits in stock in the shop again. All the shelves are stocked up with those and all kinds of variety of colors. I was trying to figure out what that was too.
Looks like a leaf. What was it? Shad for a second.
Yeah.
False alarm.
But they are stocked up, and if these fish see even a decent amount of shad, this will be a really hot method for a while. When we were up there, the wind was kind of...
Yeah, it's slowing us down a little bit.
Kind of chillaxed. It's not so chillaxed anymore. So anytime this bait gets to the point where the boat's moving slow enough for it to drift past me, I always want to reel it in and kind of get it drifting straight back behind me again.
It's a nice sign though, no moss on that.
Yeah, I didn't have any moss on mine either. Like I said, I think this would be really effective right now up by the dam if you could keep it out of the moss. But you only get 10 or 15 seconds before it hits a big clump of moss, and then doesn't work anymore. I might try to point the trolling motor downstream and keep us drifting a little faster here.
Can I just say though how much I've enjoyed watching the progression of one cast? Because I mean, it used to be literally just one cast. Like the video was like 3 minutes long, and now it's turned into like almost a full-blown like fishing tutorial. And I mean, you giggle, but it's so helpful. Like I always tell people, they're like, because they know I fish Taneycomo, like, how's the bite? I was like, dude, you gotta go check out Lilley's Landing one cast, because they do it every day and they'll tell you exactly the conditions, what's working, what's not. And I mean, I don't want work to hear me say it, but I watch it every day at my desk. It's part of my morning routine.
A little admission of guilt there.
Oh man, you guys do a great job with it. It's a real honor to be a part of it. I got a couple of coworkers who are gonna be super jealous.
Well, you just lucked out and got in the right boat today.
I did.
Oh, I saw that. He was taking it.
Yep. I think that was a hit.
We got one swing and a miss here. We're going right over the top of the flat now. This is a spot where you see a lot of boats concentrated every day, and there's a reason. For some reason the fish really like this flat right here. And there's like, so there's the deep channel up there, and we came up onto the flat, and then right here, kind of right before Trout Hollow starts, it drops off again. So there's just a lot of good structure and area for fish.
That was the bottom. Now I'm all antsy.
Oh! I think my weight bounced over a log, and then I felt like a hit, and I managed to move it right at the, oh, it was fishing line. That's what I felt. There's still a little bit of a worm on that one. Yeah, if you're new to One Cast, you can go back on our YouTube page or our Facebook page and scroll all the way to the bottom when they first started it, and you'll see just the difference that's taken place. So coming up here, we are working our way off the flat into the drop off again where it gets deep, kind of heading towards Trout Hollow's dock. I will say one thing, this inside bank across from Trout Hollow all the way down to our dock, especially last year, was an area where we drifted and caught quite a few brown trout. There's a lot of structure along there, and we drifted these jerkbaits just like we're doing right now and caught quite a few brown trout, and it's a good spot to try this method out. I feel like the wind keeps getting stronger the farther we go down lake. So what I really like to do once you make it past this seam of logs is you'll see this eddy over here on the right kind of going in that direction. There's fish just jumped right up there. And then the current where the boat's at, and I like to cast that jerkbait in to that eddy and keep the boat out here in the main current and drag it through that eddy, because a lot of the time those fish set on that seam line. But it's kind of tricky to keep your boat out here in the current. It wants to, if you get too close to the seam, it wants to suck you in that eddy, and then you don't have enough speed to drift the jerkbait. Hey Levi, will you move that camera left or right? Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, it's probably good. And looks like Nathan's gonna switch over to the 110+1.
I was having lure envy watching Levi do it, because I know there's a good spot for browns.
Yes, this structure is also a good place. Now, mind you, there is a lot of structure over there, so you might wind up getting hung up, but the risk can be worth the reward over here. Brown trout like to hide in that kind of structure. If you can put a jerkbait in front of their face, they'll
So far, all I've got is sore arm.
get ready for a big wake, guys. Oh, I think I caught a fish in the middle of it too. Oh, did he come off of there? Dang it. Well, I had a fish on. He came off right at the last second. Darn it. I think one reason we've seen some more fish caught today than we have in the last couple days is this is the 4th or 5th day now with the 15,000 CFS running. I think the fish have gained a little time to get acclimated. I think maybe surface temperature from Table Rock has been just a touch warmer and has maybe slowly warmed our water temperatures up here, which is going to help. Whenever that water dips down to that 40 degree, right at 40 degree range, it gets just a little too cold and the trout get lethargic because of it. And so hopefully with some surface temperature coming off of Table Rock and some acclimation to the current conditions, we'll see the fish biting a little better over the next couple days.
I told you the jump hurt.
I'm going back. It's too much. Been doing it all day.
Toss it right over there in that eddy, and then it'll kind of swing out into the seam. Yeah, if you work that big jerkbait right, it should wear your arm out, and it really should start about 10 to 15 minutes in. And then if you keep going, you'll start getting blisters on your fingers.
Yeah, I'll start to peel the skin.
He does not want to go back to work. Blisters.
Oh, I might have missed my only chance to see a fish today. Levi's switching over to an 1/8 ounce white jig here. He's throwing it white and gray, sorry. And he's throwing it up there in that structure. That is another way if you're looking to target a brown trout. Get along those banks where they lay up in, either on the bluffs or stuff like that where there's some depth and some structure. And you know, the jerk baits or the white jig, the white combo, white and gray, still kind of looks like a minnow. And you may not catch a lot of fish, but you'll have a better chance at getting to that brown trout if that's what you're hunting for. You know, you'd figure that with the water running from up there at the dam, that all that gravel up there would be super clean, and that this down here would have the accumulation of moss from it coming from up there, but it seems to be the opposite. I mean, it just feels real smooth down here.
Yeah, it wasn't even really possible to fish these up there. You'd get a couple of good bounces and start to feel confident in the drift, and it would just float up.
Yeah, there was definitely less moss up top than 2 or 3 days ago when I went up there, which is an awesome sign, but there's definitely still too much to try to drag a jerkbait. But throwing the bigger jerkbaits against the bank was working pretty well for us. So if you're going up there and you're getting skunked, break out a jerkbait that has some depth to it and throw that.
I had a nice brown, follow it all the way up to the boat, took a bite, tried.
I don't think I mentioned it whenever we were talking about the setups we were using today, but on those jerkbaits, if you take the belly hook off, these things will drag for a lot longer without that belly hook on there. And for the most part, the fish come up and hit it from behind anyway, so most of the time they catch that back treble anyway. So it's just kind of there, kind of, oh. That's a fish.
That's a fish.
That's a fish. We're using the net today, no chances. It's a fat fish. Look at how fat he is. That's a brown. Nope. It is a brown. No, it's a rainbow.
It's a rainbow. Dude, I caught a fish on one cast. I caught a fish on one cast.
All right. I got a pair of pliers back by Levi. Awesome. Oh, I'm glad you came along today. You might be the only one to show us what a fish looks like.
That is so cool. I cannot believe, one, I got to be on one cast, and two, I caught a fish.
Nathan has put the whooping on us today.
Well, I hope so.
I think that's your 5 or 6 fish to our 1 apiece.
He is fat. Holy
yeah, he's super fat. And he had big spots on him too. Hold him up for the camera there.
Beauty.
Perfect.
Beauty. Thanks, bud. Thanks for making my dreams come true. Nice work, guide.
That was a terrible high five. We're gonna have to practice that later.
Give me one more. Give me one more. There we go. Blame the slimy trout hand. Man, that's awesome. That's so cool. I'm sure you're used to it being the big star that you are, but that's pretty exciting for me.
It's always exciting. Oh. It's fun. Sometimes you can really feel them.
Snagged.
You're going through all the motions today. Catch a fish,
of course.
snap off.
You get too anxious, yep.
I think I've got one more rod right there behind you, rigged up with a jerkbait to drag, and we're only going to go for a couple more minutes here.
Of course that would happen, because I was going to try to buy that one off you.
Before you cast, there is some tree somewhere right in there, so wait until we get past that tree to cast. Probably scoot out a little bit too here. Get kind of.
I was going to retire that
sucked
one.
into the eddy.
Should have taken it.
I've got one that looks just like it. You can pretend.
Well, now it's recorded. I can't even lie. There's internet proof. The bad thing about recording fishing, I can't tell any fishing stories.
Oh boy, the wind is moving through here.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if I'm bouncing with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to speed the boat up downstream a little bit to get that drift going before it straightens out too much. Oh man. They come up behind it and they hit it from side to side, and sometimes they just don't get that hook. But you can really feel it when they do. You can really feel it. Yeah, so yours has gotten to the point where it just needs to be recasted there. think the wind's giving me enough of a fit. I'm about ready to call it, so we'll try for another 60 seconds here.
Okay, I get another plug for the podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
driftwoodoutdoors.com or anywhere podcast you can find your favorite podcast. Just search Driftwood Outdoors, iTunes, Spotify, all of it. Thank you.
Oh, you gonna get a buzzer beater here?
Still got a good bounce.
All right, well, I think I'm gonna call it. We thank you guys for watching today. Get on Facebook, like and share us. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube if you haven't, and check out Driftwood Outdoors. And we'll be back out here to do it again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
How cool was that?